Yo, what up to my fans out there, man? Y'all already know anytime I got anything new or exclusive, I'm bringing it to y'all first. So, just want to let y'all know, man, I'm re-signing back with the Cleveland Cavaliers, man. My hometown team. I can't be more excited in this opportunity once again, man, to defend our crown, defend our title. And we all know last year was a magical, inspiring, all the words you could come up with, man. It was an unbelievable season. And I just can't wait to get the group back together, man. The team, the franchise, but more importantly, get everybody together. The fans. Without you guys, without y'all passion and commitment, man, we wouldn't have been able to do what we did this past season. So I'm ecstatic. I can't wait to see my guys. I can't wait to get back out there in the wine and gold, man, and just get the band back together. And lastly, let's get JR done. It's that time. Uninterrupted. Let's go. The Land.
The Land, first take on a Friday, a feel-good Friday, and it all starts with King James. Max Kellerman, Molly Karam here in Bristol, Stephen A. in his hometown of New York. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning. How y'all doing?
What's going on, Molly?
How we doing?
We're all loners.
Yes, loners. Stephen A., you ready
Max, I'm always ready. Max, this is, I'm going to be in the studio with you most of the time.
Yeah.
But sometimes, on occasion, you're going to have to hold it down the way you got to hold it down today, being in there with Molly. Without me, I'm sure you can handle it.
I don't know what I'm going to do.
Oh, he can hold it down. He's good. He's all good. Let's get into it. You know where we're starting. We tip things off in the Land with another decision by LeBron. The King will now wear the crown of the highest paid player in the NBA for the first time in his career. LeBron James inked a 3-year, $100 million deal with the Cavaliers, according to his agent, Rich Paul. In his first contract year, he'll make a cool $31 million. Source told ESPN that there's a player option for a third year. So his salary for the 2017-2018 season will top $33 million, making him the highest paid player in a single season in league history, topping the $33 million Michael Jordan earned with the Bulls in the 97-98 season. Stephen A., is this good for the league?
Well, it is good for the league from this perspective. The best player in the world is the highest paid player. So in that regard, this is a very, very good thing. LeBron James is deserving of this and far more, as far as I'm concerned. If he got $60 million a year, it would not have been a problem with me, simply because not just his greatness, not just the fact that he's the greatest in the world, not just the fact that he is a champion, but also because of the fact that he's box office. You walk through the turnstiles and clamor to an arena to see LeBron James. ESPN, TNT, and any network that airs NBA games desperately want LeBron James on the basketball court when their cameras are rolling. And so in that regard, it's clearly very, very good for the league. Him, his agent, Rich Paul, did an outstanding job. It wasn't that hard, by the way, because it shouldn't be that hard, because LeBron James should be able to get what he wants. But here's the important point, Max, that I think has to be articulated. The best player in the world is getting paid the highest amount of money. So that is very, very good when it comes to LeBron James. But when you think about a James Harden, when you think about a Russell Westbrook and others, as great as they are as players, it's a Mike Conley Jr., who just signed a $153 million contract. It was also very, very pivotal that this deal accentuated LeBron James, or validated LeBron James' greatness, monetarily. Because had it not, then we would have had a problem. This is the kind of stuff that needs to happen here. When you think about Mike Conley Jr., who I respect, when you think about James Harden, who I recognize to be a scoring sensation, when you think about a Russell Westbrook, who I consider to be a superstar talent, none of them have rings. None of them. And so when you have that situation, but you have individuals who are achieving less, getting paid more, that's the problem, and that's something that has to be fixed. So the fact that Rich Paul and LeBron James ensured that LeBron James is getting paid more than anybody, okay, particularly over the next couple of years, I think it was very, very pivotal that that message is sent. Those who are the greatest, those who generate revenue better than anybody else, are the individuals who should get paid. LeBron James happens to be somebody who does both. Not only is he the one that generates revenue in terms of attracting eyeballs and beyond, just as good, if not better than anybody in the game, but he stands here today as the reigning, defending NBA champion. And because of that, it's pivotal that you showcase that by making sure he is the individual that is paid the most. That is why this is so big. That is why this is so important, because hopefully, it's sending the message that, you know what? You can't just be box office. You need to win too. You need to be great too in order to get those kind of dollars. When we look at some of these individuals, Bradley Beal, DeMar DeRozan, these guys can play. They're very, very good. But 128 to 139 million respectively, come on now. Come on now. It's great that LeBron James got this because it needed to happen.
This is bad for the league, Stephen A., because the fact is LeBron James just had basically like $900 million stolen from him. People are going to focus on the $100 million he just got. What about the $900 million extra that he's worth that he's not going to get paid? And how does this affect things? In other words, when you have a league with a cap and a max contract, all that ever is, kids don't buy that this is about competitive balance. It's nonsense. It's about funneling money from the players to the owners. And how does this affect things negatively? Let's take LeBron James, and you mentioned a name I want to focus on for a second, Stephen A. Mike Conley. Mike Conley is an excellent point guard. When you think about constructing a championship team, he's like one of the guys you're like, boy, if he's your point guard, you're on your way. He plays it just the way you want a point guard to play the position, you know, minus the kind of obvious talent of a Westbrook or something like that. But the fact that Mike Conley makes in the neighborhood per year of what LeBron James makes means that the system is broken. It's not like any talent evaluator or GM. Stephen A., you bring up the point about the revenue he generates. So there's two things. There's the on-the-floor value, on-the-court value, and there's the off-the-court money value. No evaluator in either realm would ever think Mike Conley is nearly as valuable as LeBron James, yet he's going to be paid that way. And so what you have is a warping of the dollar in the NBA to the talent on the floor. And this is why you get these kind of weird rosters and cap problems, etc., because they're not letting the marketplace dictate what guys are getting paid. They're letting some arbitrary system dictate what they're being paid.
Will you stop lying to the American public? You are a proud capitalist. You are all about what the market bears.
Sure.
And if the market allows you to be able to get some dollars, you've got no problem getting it. Mike Conley was in a position to hold the Memphis Grizzlies hostage. Anthony Davis was in a position to hold the New Orleans Hornets hostage if it came to that. James Harden was definitely in a prime position to get $118 million. Everybody knows that. And Russell Westbrook, in the aftermath of Kevin Durant departing from OKC, clearly was in a position to re-up the way that he did. You know it, I know it. And then when you look at LeBron James, clearly he's worth more than anybody else. Clearly he's worth about $1 billion to the local Cleveland economy. Nobody is saying that the local Cleveland economy can't pay him, but the Cavaliers, even though we can argue about a salary cap and what have you and how restrictive that is, there is no doubt about that. But if LeBron James deserved his money, well, what the hell did Michael Jordan deserve
listen,
when he was playing? So we know that.
This is what I will say. Somehow, in spite of this system which suppresses the player's salary and warps the economy of basketball and has guys like Conley, and I'm not arguing, Conley should get every dime that's coming to him. In fact, Conley is probably also underpaid since he got a max deal. He likely would have gotten more had the max deal been bigger. So I'm not arguing that Conley's overpaid. I'm saying LeBron is way underpaid. Way underpaid.
Well, you're talking about salary. I'm saying that when you say he's worth $1 billion, he's worth $1 billion to the local economy. So who knows what money he's getting outside of the Cavaliers to supplement the salary that he's getting?
He would get that money anyway. And if you just
I'm saying he deserves it.
Of course. But if you took the max contract off, even if you kept the cap, LeBron James would make multiples of what he's making now. Multiples of what he's making now.
So let me ask you this question. So basically what you're saying is this, because in theory, I get where you're coming from, and nobody can disagree with that. We all know that even at $31 million, LeBron James is underpaid. There's no denying that. But the way you sound Give LeBron James $100 million and give everybody else $2.
No.
That ain't going to work.
No,
Not if
no.
you're trying to assemble a team.
That
ain't going to work.
I'm not saying underpay the other guys. There are also many of them being
So
underpaid.
you don't agree with a cap?
Although
you don't agree with a cap?
Of course not. A cap is nonsense. Max contracts are nonsense. It's nonsense. Some kind of revenue sharing in the form of a luxury tax, and LeBron would start getting paid at least nearly what he's worth. But I will say this. Michael Jordan is the record he just broke, and Jordan he made that money almost 20 years ago. So in spite of what I'm saying, the NBA does figure out a way to usually make the biggest star the highest paid guy. That part they got right, for sure. But not maybe in Mike Conley's case, but there are examples of guys who are getting max contracts who don't deserve it simply because of this system that's now in place. It's like, well, you got to spend your money. He's the best guy you got. If you don't give it to him, someone else will give it to him. And it creates cap problems throughout the league, and it's nonsense.
Last point that I'm going to make is this real quickly before we move on. I am opposed to a cap overall. I understand its existence in terms of course certainty, but I'm opposed to it. But I will tell you this. While I'm opposed to the cap, I am not opposed to guys getting max 2-year deals. Max 2-3 years max. Now, I don't care how much money you get in that span, but I don't think any of these guys should get lengthy 5-6-year contracts.
We're on the same page, and I wonder if the labor union would ever agree to that. Get rid of the cap, get rid of the max contract, get rid of all that, but shorten the length of the deals. Let the marketplace do its thing.
They won't. Trust me. Let's move on. They won't. Trust me.